throughout the nation and around the globe. From his heart to yours, it's Dear James Live, bringing you intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. And we have incredibly beautiful, powerful energies that we are working with, once in a lifetime energies. We'll get to that. Welcome Kiki, welcome Heather, welcome Colleen, welcome Alicia. Let's jump into it because there is a lot to cover. Main energies. The one to look at is 39, obstruction, innovate. It becomes a 12, which is about standstill, release, which becomes a 3, which is difficult beginnings, persevere. So it's about innovate, release, persevere. We're going to cover the obstruction, innovate, hexagram 39. This is the astrological chart, the horary chart for what's known as Barbault'S basket. And we're going to cover that and explain that. What you're looking at in the center is there's a magic triangle. There's a 5-pointed star. There is a basket. When you look to the top and the bottom of the chart, you see the solid red line where Jupiter in Leo is opposing Pluto in Aquarius. When you look to the right, kind of tilt your head, but I'm going to show it to you in another image here quickly. It creates a basket formation. This is the chart. Today, the sun moves into Leo, so you can see more clearly the basket formation. And at the top of the chart, where the moon is the handle of the basket. All 4 planets, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, Neptune retrograde in Aries, Uranus in Gemini, Jupiter in Leo, the moon in Libra, in the basket chart, all at 4 degrees of their respective signs. This type of configuration astrologically, it has not been found in recorded history prior. It is literally a once in a lifetime, and we've talked about this. 8.34 billion souls on the planet chose to be here at this time for extraordinary, as above, so below, astrological heavens, celestial occurrences that haven't happened in recorded history. And so we are the living recipients and custodians of this energy. Let's jump into, when we look at Barbault'S basket, I read the astrological energy intuitively. And what I heard was, when one door closes, a new one opens. And we have this beautiful image, this celestial image, an eternal circle in the void with this horizontal circle intertwining it, embracing it. When one door closes, a new one opens. It's not another one. It's a new one. So let's quickly take a look at that before we go to our main theme in Barbault'S basket. Spiritually, when one door closes and a new one opens, the phrase symbolizes divine redirection and soul evolution. A closed door isn't a rejection, but a protective intervention pushing you out of your comfort zone. It signifies the end of a karmic cycle and an invitation to trust the universe as you step into a higher frequency of opportunity. It's about divine protection and alignment. Sometimes the path behind the closed door would lead to stagnation or harm. The universe closes it to align you with your true purpose. It's about law of detachment. To walk through a new door, you must release your grip on past outcomes. This is about shedding the old skin, emptying the vessel, letting go of the past. It's about dwelling on what was lost keeps you spiritually stuck. and it's about spiritual awakening. Closures often force you to pause, reflect, and deepen your spiritual connection. It is a test of faith and surrender to the unknown. What is before us is unknown to us. These once in a lifetime, I mean, once in 9,000 years, 6,000 years, 10,000 years, not in recorded history. We are in uncharted, unknown waters. And lastly, it's about accepting closures as natural shifts allows you to see the open doors, which represent new beginnings, spiritual growth, and alignment with your soul's journey. We came here for this moment, this beautiful moment in time of transition, transformation, transmutation, transfiguration. So let us look at our main theme. Our main theme is Barbault'S basket. The door opens. Time waits for no one, with an exclamation point. So let's get to Barbault'S basket first. And we're going to set the stage here. So the late French astrologer André Barbault described the rare July 2026 planetary alignment. And by the way, the exactness of this alignment began on the 19th of July, wraps up today on the 22nd. But of course, it lingers out in these energies, again, once in a lifetime. It's resetting the stage. It's opening a new door. So the late French astrologer André Barbault described the rare July 2026 planetary alignment known as Barbault'S basket as a highly auspicious turning point for humanity. He theorized that this once in a century, but once in a lifetime, geometric formation acts as a bridge away from collective hardship, ushering in a splendid relaunch of civilization and a new renaissance. It's about civilizational reset. Barbault believed that this unique grouping of slow-moving outer planets signifies a moment when the old, chaotic world order breaks apart, allowing a reorganized new society to take its place. It's the architect of a new era. The July configuration peaking between the 19th and the 22nd aligns Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto perfectly at the 4th degree of their respective fire and air signs. Remember, we are leaving earth and water signs to fire and air signs. Barbault saw this shift of energy from heavy earth and water to light air and fire as a catalyst for sweeping global advancements. It's from crisis to harmony. Pardon me. Famous for his research into long-term geopolitical cycles, which led to him forecasting the global pandemic of the early 2020s and the fall of the Berlin Wall. Barbault viewed this basket as the harmonious crescendo following a long stretch of historical polarization. He predicted it would birth creative visions, technological breakthroughs, and irreversible spiritual awakenings. We're going back to where we began, an octave higher, this leveling up. And lastly, this specific alignment is a once-in-a-lifetime astrological event, and the exact combination described at exactly 4 degrees has never occurred before in recorded history. While the planets have occasionally hit these signs in the past, their orbits at the exact same 4 degrees, and 4 is foundational. So at the exact same 4-degree mark form a rare astrological pattern known as Barbault'S basket, which it's peaking right now. The closest historical parallel where these 4 planets were in the same signs was around 1922, 105 years ago. However, they were positioned at vastly different degrees across the zodiac wheel. So André Barbault, the French astrologer, was renowned for this long-term look at astrology, and he was predicting events that came to pass. And so there's an aspect here that of this that is, again, once in a lifetime. So we're dealing with Barbault'S basket. Today, July 22nd, the sun enters Leo. Coming up at the end of the month of July, the nodes, the nodal axis will change signs. They're going to leave Pisces in the north, Virgo in the south, and move to Aquarius in the north, Leo in the south. North is where humanity is going. The south is what we're releasing. And then also on the 29th of July coming up, which we'll cover next week, we have the full moon in Aquarius. This July 2026 month energies is enormous. It's enormous, and it is that moment, that tower moment. We had that in the show. It's the tower we've all been waiting for, this moment that shifts everything. The old door closes, the new one opens. A new one opens. So, going back to this, Barbault'S basket, the door opens, time waits for no one. So the door opens. Spiritually, an open door signifies a divine invitation, new beginnings, or a period of transition. It represents authorized access to a fresh season. It's authorized access. The heavens, the above, as above, so below, is authorizing this access, this closing of one door, the opening of a new door. It's about unearned blessings or God-given opportunities that require faith and action to step through. We talked about last week. We've talked about it last night as well. That when the door opens, walk through it and do not look back. Throughout various spiritual traditions and biblical contexts, the symbolism of an open door carries several specific meanings. It's about divine opportunities. In biblical literature, an open door often points to a divinely orchestrated opportunity for growth, service, and breakthrough. The Apostle Paul frequently referred to open doors as moments to expand his teachings despite obstacles. It's about transition and change. Doors mark the threshold between the past and the future. When a door opens spiritually, it indicates you are moving out of a season of preparation and into one of action. And lastly, it's unmerited favor. Sometimes doors open simply due to spiritual alignment, obedience, or grace, allowing you to step into callings you didn't necessarily strive for. This can be literally sudden, unknown, unexpected. Uranus is involved. Jupiter is aspecting Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. Pluto expands, amplifies in a positive manner. Uranus is expect the unexpected, the higher mind. So we have these beautiful, and these are the heavy hitter players of our solar system coming together for us to advance us, this massive transition. Because doors serve as the boundary between different realms or states of being, exploring this symbolism can offer deep insight into your current life path. So this is about how we all change. Colleen is mentioning, regime change, if you will. There's an aspect here, though, of how we all change. How the past, that train that came in, that ends, it comes into the station, it idles, it's been sitting at the station. The engine, the intensity of the engine rumbles. And then, for anyone that's been on a train or been in Europe on a train, whoosh, you hear the air, the brakes, the hydraulics, everything, whoosh, and the engine just comes to a quiet still. It's done. You cross the platform, and of course, we've talked about the golden ticket, new adventures await, and the golden ticket train. We all have a golden ticket. The issue is, are we choosing to cross the platform and get on the golden ticket train? That train is departing the station. That train carries us, delivers us to the new. And thereby, as above, so below, We're in alignment with that journey, that adventure, the unknown of it, but we're willing to go, as opposed to sitting on this train that's going nowhere, that's done, dead, over. And again, there's illusions here that are going on. So this is the door opens. Time waits for no one! Exclamation point. Colleen is saying the Boston subway. Yes, exactly. You know. So time waits for no one means that the relentless passage of time cannot be stopped, delayed, or altered by anyone. We've talked, the arc of destiny moves forward. So this trying to dial us back to 1900, it's futile. We've spoken about that. It serves as a reminder that life is fleeting, opportunities pass quickly, and events will continue to unfold regardless of human hesitation or lack of preparation. We've spoken a lot about be ready. When the door opens, walk through it and do not look back. It requires that we are ready. We're in alignment, in the flow with the new. The concept traces this time waits for no one. Concept traces back to the 14th century, originating in Geoffrey Chaucer's Prologue to the Clerk's Tale, circa 1395. As the proverb, quote, time and tide wait for no man, end quote. Originally, the word tide meant season or time of day, emphasizing the natural phenomenon, and the clock will keep turning no matter what humans desire. There is a higher hand, a higher force, the unseen, the divine, the all that is. The master weaver, the host, that is guiding and dictating, orchestrating the adventure, the moment, the time. Core lessons: procrastination and action. The phrase is often used to warn against putting things off because time is limited, goals must be pursued actively rather than delayed. And it's about acceptance. It acknowledges the inevitability of change, aging, and the fact that you cannot rewind moments to fix past choices. Allow them to refine you, not define you. We speak about that a lot. It's simply to look at the choices we made, where we were at the time, and make new choices. Better, if you will, choices. The spiritual meaning of time waits for no one centers on the irrevocable nature of the present moment. It serves as a cosmic reminder to release hesitation and embrace mindfulness, as every passing second offers a fleeting, sacred opportunity for spiritual growth, alignment with your purpose and love, and awareness. Awareness of yourself, awareness of your mind, your thoughts, your intentions, the purity or impurity of them. This phrase carries deep resonance across various philosophies and belief systems, offering guidance on how to navigate the human experience. In many spiritual traditions, the present is the only true reality. Because time is an unstoppable river, dwelling on past regrets or worrying about the future distracts you from the divine grace available right now in the present moment. Spiritual awakening often requires stepping out of complacency. The relentless tick of the clock is a spiritual nudge to pursue your soul's purpose. It's about your soul's purpose, not your ego, mind, personality, but your soul. What did my soul say it would do, come to experience? So it's about this nudge to pursue your soul's purpose, cultivate meaningful relationships, and release ego-driven fears before the opportunity passes. The phrase is deeply tied to the natural, universal rhythms of life, death, and rebirth. You'll see how that's coming up. It's number 5 from the unseen. Just as the ocean tide continuously rises and falls, the forward march of time reminds us to flow with the universe rather than fighting against the natural order or the divine order of it. So the door opens. Just going to bring up the main image again. The door opens. It's Barbault'S basket. The door opens. Time waits for no one! Exclamation point. And this opportunity to advance. Now here I want to jump into I'm going to front load this a little bit. I want to go to some of the astrology. This is from Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. And she says, on the treetops, quote, when the wind blows, the cradle will rock. The wind has been blowing and the cradle has been rocking, with Jupiter acting as the linchpin in the cradle planetary configuration that perfects this week. Will the bow break? Or will the Aquarius full moon on July 29th, which sees the moon conjunct Pluto and the sun conjunct Jupiter, because remember, they're going to be on opposite sides, they're in opposition to one another, provide the energy that will activate the greater social and individual changes that are promised, assisted by the newly minted North Node in Aquarius. These are major shifting events and energies exquisitely aligned. I mean, again, all four of these planets plus the moon at 4 degrees of their respective signs, not in recorded history has it happened. We're talking thousands of years. With this week, we enter one of the most profound and astrological periods of 2026 and of this entire decade. The events that occur in these final days of July and during eclipse season in August, which is coming up, will have impact for many more months or years to come. So this is Pam Youngin at North Point Journal setting this stage of the magnitude of the energies. And now I want to go to ethereal culture, Juliana McCarthy. And she's speaking about the cat's cradle. A new story begins. When one door closes, a new one opens. So she's speaking about a new story. The unseen is speaking about a new one opens, a new door opens. The second half of July is beginning to kick into high gear, with the outer planets aligning in a rare and life-changing formation that is being called the cat's cradle or Barbault'S basket, and that other astrologers have been calling Barbault'S basket. A very prophetic and historically accurate astrologer, André Barbault, predicted that as Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto form supportive angles to each other at the end of July 2026, this would be an extraordinarily positive moment for humanity. In some ways, we could say this is a turning point. It's the bottom of a bell curve that begins to climb its way back toward the light. It represents an entirely new direction that heralds breakthrough, transformation, and a new system of values and boundaries. Where in our individual lives is there a new system of values? And when we say a new system, it's always been there. It's, are we listening to it? Are we now actively choosing it? Are we aligning with it? We're not going with the flow anymore. We're not worried about the coulda, wouldas, and shouldas. We're not worried about what others want or think. We're aligning with the purity of our soul, with our soul source connection. What did my soul say it would do, come here to do? And when that comes to the fore and we allow it to lead, and the ego, mind, personality, human aligns with that, in service to it and with it, that's where the harmony of the two expand, succeed, accelerate. The sextile between Uranus and Neptune becomes exact on July 15th, followed by the trine between Uranus and Pluto on July 18th, which is one of the defining signatures of the year. Mars, and these are all harmonious aspects. Mars sextiles Saturn on July 19th. Then, in quick succession, Jupiter trines Neptune and opposes Pluto on July 20th and sextiles Uranus on July 21st. Just in that one paragraph, Juliana McCarthy from etherealculture.com, look how much heavy hitter action is taking place successively. Boom, boom, and there's all harmonious. The opposition is even harmonious because it's going to reveal and bring to the light. And Jupiter's the one opposing it, so it's going to magnify and amplify it. These days are high voltage. All three collective planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are activated through this period, and Jupiter touches each of them within days. The effects are likely to be quite visible in our personal lives and beyond. We're living inside a years-long story, the gradual shift from an Earth-dominant era to an air-dominant era. And this stretch of July makes that shift unusually clear, palpable. It's going to, remember, we've had explosive action in advance, this explosive advance, explosive action. Well, here we are. It's a strong window for advancing thoroughly prepared, well-grounded projects and evolutions, the kinds of undertakings that could genuinely succeed in a significant way. The shadow side, as with Icarus's story, is hubris, arrogance, hubris, entitlement, unconsciousness. Losing touch with reality or letting ego outrun substance can turn a promising ascent into a hard fall. There's also the danger of feeling overwhelmed as the planets push us with tremendous vigor to shake off our various cocoons. We're ready, caterpillar to butterfly, this metamorphosis. We're ready to emerge as butterflies, monarch butterflies. Not any butterfly, monarch butterflies. Boom, royal, divine butterflies. However, if we can remain strong and grounded and take extra good care of ourselves, powerful transformations are very likely. This is about taking care of ourselves. Rest when you need to rest. Listen to your soul. Go as guided. Place boundaries. Watch your internal dialogue. Stop and pivot. Ensure that it's aligning so that when the door opens, you walk through it and you don't look back. Right, Kiki is talking about this explosive diarrhea from this, I forget the proper word for the cyclospora or something like that, that is occurring. Exactly. And look how that is playing out. So that's about powerful transformations are very likely. Ethereal Culture, Juliana McCarthy. This period of time holds the potential to turn our stories around, big and small, for the better. It's a once-in-humanity kind of moment that begins the next era and establishes a fresh, new, exciting, palpable, energetic frequency. What do your own personal challenges and breakthroughs look like now? What lessons, wisdom, and new realities are rapidly clicking into place? This is all about what do we know to let go of? What do we know to do or not do? And where are we listening and aligning with that truth, actively awaiting that open door, that opportunity, that moment to walk through? And it could be let go of an old person, place, thing, relationship, position, career, to receive the one that your soul is palpably yearning for, leaning into that force and pressure. May we meet this convergence with strength and open hearts, trusting the ground beneath our becoming. May we recognize breakthrough when it arrives, and from there, find the courage to build something real and lasting. This is evolutionary change. It is our key word. We're going to go to it really quickly here. Evolutionary change. One letter off or absent, revolutionary. So this is evolutionary change that the unseen is speaking about Barbault'S basket, and the door opens. And evolutionary, the spiritual meaning, refers to the continuous expansion of human consciousness, shifting from self-centered awareness, where we've been, patriarchal, Piscean, the I. So continuous expansion of human consciousness, going back to where we began, an octave higher, shifting from self-centered awareness to higher states of empathy, interconnectedness, and universal law. Awareness. It's emotional intelligence. It's awareness. The more aware we are, the less harm we cause, we choose, because we're more aware of the empathy, the interconnectedness, the universal love of everything. And we had that, right? Love thy neighbor as thyself, thy God above all other. We've known this from the beginning. This is a massive reset to bring that. Remember, the ideal becomes the new reality. So we're moving from the ideal of something to the reality of that ideal. Rather than simply moving through biological history, it represents, so evolutionary, it represents the ongoing awakening of the human spirit to its divine potential, its divine nature, its divine origin, our sovereignty, our divinity, and the awareness, the awakening, the reality of that. This concept blends the unfolding history of the cosmos with inner transformation, emphasizing that human consciousness is the leading edge of a developmental process that began billions of years ago. It's about metaphysical unfolding, the belief that individuals work under spiritual law to express the inner perfection sown in consciousness from the beginning. This belief that the individuals work under spiritual law, soul source connection. As above, so below. It's about evolutionary spirituality, a science-grounded philosophy that treats the story of cosmic evolution as a sacred, shared narrative. It focuses on the active responsibility to co-create a compassionate, equitable future. That begins at home, meaning within. What are my thoughts? What's my interior dialogue? What is the purity of my intentions? Am I listening? Am I going as guided? When all of those things align and they're pure, they're empowered, they're fortified, they're strengthened, and that ripples out. And lastly, psychological and emotional growth, the expansion of emotional intelligence and cognitive processes to transcend personal biases, that can be biases, ignorances, hate, shadow, lack, moving past suffering through acceptance and clarity. So it's moving past suffering through acceptance and clarity, past personal biases. It's releasing them to purify. When we hold on to things, we're only, it creates disharmony, dis-ease within. The other person could be clueless. The harm is being done internally. And so the more that this cognitive process to transcend these personal biases or lack, goo, moving past suffering through acceptance and clarity. So again, our key word, evolutionary. It is an evolutionary / revolutionary moment, basket. So now let's look and move to, where'd it go? So sorry, Astrology by Lauren, sorry. The cradle, basket. On July 20th, a configuration known as a cradle will reach perfection when it becomes exact. You might have also heard it referred to as Barbault'S basket. Barbault's was an astrologer who accurately predicted specific events over time and considered this particular configuration to be globally significant. He saw it as a time where there would be a reorganization of power and changes in the distribution of resources. As a result, many perceive this time as a shift in the global zeitgeist. One thing that can be sure of this, that this is not a common configuration. So one thing we can be sure of is that this is not a common configuration. The last time we can remotely came close to this alignment was in 1789, when Pluto was last in Aquarius and Jupiter in Leo. This time, all the outer planets plus Jupiter are going to be perfectly aligned in this configuration at 4 degrees of their respective signs. Then add the moon as the handle at 4 degrees. It consists of an opposition between Jupiter in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius, intersected by 2 wedge planets, Uranus and Neptune, also at 4 degrees of their respective signs, Gemini and Aries. A cradle or basket is contained by the opposition, which represents certain issues that need to be faced and overcome. It could even feel potentially dangerous, or like we are heading down the wrong road. That's what it looks like, right? We're heading down the wrong road. And yet, this will be different for everyone. However, collectively, Jupiter in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius is often about the unequal distribution of or the abuse of power and resources, hence Barbault's prediction. The sign that Pluto is currently in will often point to where the power is being leveraged. During the years that Pluto had been in Capricorn, power had been, it's just, Pluto just last year left Capricorn and is now officially in Aquarius. So during the years that Pluto had been in Capricorn, power had been rigidly consolidated at the top. But now that Pluto has entered Aquarius, that power aims to be redistributed among the people. But for that to happen, it helps to have some sort of catalyst. This often happens because those who hold the power don't want to let it go. And those who don't have the power are getting tired of not having it. And now that Jupiter is creating this exact opposition to Pluto, it is inserting a certain amount of leverage, allowing the changes to unfold. One of the things that the Jupiter-Pluto transit does is make us that much more aware of unfair use of power and distribution of resources. And even though the abuse of power and corruption is not necessarily anything new, it just becomes that much more blatant and obvious under these oppositions that expose the abuse for what it is. At first, it can seem that the already powerful are able to enrich themselves and may even be quite successful at it. However, under this transit, that power is only ephemeral, and enrichment due to nefarious means will lead to a fall, not a rise, in power. For ultimately, especially now that Pluto is in Aquarius, the power is being leveraged into the hands of those whose motives are for the greater good of all concerned, not just a chosen few. We're watching this exact thing play out with the mayor of New York City, Mayor Mundane, and the change where the power said, no, this can't happen, and the $1 billion deficit that he received walked into, and everything's been rewritten. Everything's being reallocated in a way that makes it equitable, win-win, not a demonization of one over the other, a harmony and balancing, a leveling up, a rising, a tide lifts all boats. For that to happen, there's an equitable redistribution. There is a change, an expansion of possibility concepts. They've been there all along. It's who has the courage to step forward and say yes and pick up the torch, the mantle. And then to the populace, the people, the awakening that says, yes, that, not that. We've been there, done that. It didn't work well. There was a moment where it was nice, but now we're far out of balance. And this is a moment where the tides are shifting, that the arc of destiny is moving forward to cleanse, purify, advance, up-level humanity, but the whole of the whole, because we're all interconnected as one. Now I want to finish up with, this is the most beautiful writing about Barbault'S basket by Naomi Nama Braca from ASTROLOGY. A basket and the cradle of a new civilization. And this is the image, let me just bring this up. A basket and the cradle of a new civilization. And you see this glowing, lit up basket, the Barbault'S basket, as it's being referred to, of these planets all at 4 degrees of their respective signs. And this is her image from ASTROLOGY. An extraordinary alignment is forming in the sky. 4 collective planets, 4 messengers, 4 forces, 1 opening. In Hebrew, 4 is Dalet, and Dalet contains Dalet, the door, the portal, So contained within this basket is the door. When the door opens, walk through it and do not look back. The door opens, time waits for no one, exclamation point. So in Hebrew, 4 is dalet, and dalet contains dalet, the door, the portal, the threshold between one world and the next. In Kabbalah, the planets are understood as messengers of Hashem. Each one carries a mission. Each one transmits a force. Each one delivers a divine instruction into time. Remember, it was time changes. What was it? Time forever changes. So each one transmits a force, each one delivers a divine instruction into time. These 4 messengers will all be meeting at the exact same 4-degree point. Dalet within dalet. The portal is announcing itself through a portal, a golden opening, a golden threshold, the beginning of a golden era. Neptune is the messenger of transcendence, the remembrance that spirit is more real than fear. Neptune in Aries awakens the spiritual warrior. Faith becomes fire. Uranus is the messenger of shock. Remember, we've had the tower. This is the tower we've all been waiting for, and that towers don't have to be bad. So Uranus is the messenger of shock, the sudden knowing that breaks the old mind open. Uranus in Gemini revolutionizes thought. The nervous system of humanity begins to receive a new code. A basket appears when history is crossing water. And this basket, and remember many shows ago, we had air over water. This fluidity over water, air over water. So a basket appears when history is crossing water. And this basket is happening during Cancer season, the season of water, the womb, the ultimate vessel. The basket is floating on the waters of love. The first great basket in Torah is the Teva, Noah's ark, a vessel built before the flood, a sacred container for the next civilization. The old world dissolved in water. The new world was carried inside a basket. The same word appears again with Moses, a baby placed inside a teva, a redeemer carried through dangerous waters, something small and fragile that carried the hope and future of an entire civilization. Moses, in his basket is the Aquarian redeemer, the one who brought down the Torah, the water bearer, the one who came to quench the thirst of an oppressed people. Today, Pluto is in Aquarius to transform every structure that crushes the divine soul. The rim of the basket is Jupiter in Leo, opposing Pluto in Aquarius. The individual light meets the systems that tried to suppress it. Pluto is the messenger of death and rebirth. Pluto in Aquarius wants to destroy every system that forgets the human being, every machine that tries to erase the image of the divine of God within man. Jupiter in Leo opposes Pluto and expands the light of the sovereign self, soul source connection. Leo says, stand in your divine given, your God-given radiance. Become responsible for the light you came here to carry. What did my soul come here to do? Welcome, Olivia. This opposition awakens the soul's immense desire to complete her Aquarian cocoon, to shine so brightly as an individual that her light becomes liberation for the collective, to become so rooted in her own divine radiance that oppressive systems begin to lose their power. It's number one from the unseen. It's time to rise and shine on earth as it is in heaven. We'll come to that. So this is about to remember the liberated soul does not shine for herself alone. She shines until the whole world remembers it was born to be free. This basket appears during the 9 days when we mourn the destruction of the temple. This is the temple in Jerusalem. To remind us that we must illuminate with the gold of our godly souls for the whole world to become a basket, a mishkan, for the divine light to dwell below. Make for me a sanctuary, and I will dwell with them. Barbault'S basket is the same gematria as the mishkan, the sanctuary. The sky is forming the basket above to announce that the mishkan will soon be rebuilt on earth. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of Hashem has risen upon you. This is from Isaiah. Humble ones, the time of your redemption has arrived. This is a beautiful writing from ASTROLOGY, Naomi Nama Braca. Time to rise and shine on earth as it is in heaven. So time to rise and shine. The spiritual meaning blends two powerful biblical concepts: waking up to your divine potential, rise and shine, and bringing the perfect peace, love, and will of the divine realm into the physical world on earth as it is in heaven. It is a call to spiritual awakening and active manifestation. Rise and shine. This phrase draws heavily from Isaiah. Here is AstroTorah quoting Isaiah. Here's the unseen giving us a phrase that draws heavily from Isaiah 60:1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. It's about arise, awaken. This is a call to action. See, this is active. It's active alignment, active choices, active surrender to your soul, active release, active purification. It's active. So this is a call to action. It means moving out of spiritual slumber, despair, or negative habits and stepping into awareness. Awareness is the key. Awareness creates an expansive consciousness. It's about shine, which is reflect. Once awake, you are called to radiate spiritual light, such as love, kindness, and truth, into the world. Just as the moon reflects the sun, you are meant to reflect the divine light. On earth as it is in heaven, originating from the Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6:10, this phrase is a profound spiritual declaration. It's about a heavenly blueprint. Heaven represents a state of perfect harmony, where there is no sickness, sorrow, as lack. So the unseen is saying to us about Barbault'S basket, the sun entering Leo, the nodal axis changing, this upcoming full moon in Aquarius, but really this what's known as Barbault'S basket. Time to rise and shine on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven represents a state of this perfect harmony. It's manifesting on earth. Praying or living on earth as it is in heaven is the spiritual practice of bringing that heavenly harmony into the physical material world. It challenges you to make your life, your community, and your environment a reflection of divine order, peace, harmony, love, equality, humility. Combined, the spiritual meaning, when you combine these ideas, the spiritual meaning is a divine commission. Align your inner and outer life. Your heaven is your spirit, mind, and awareness, while your earth is your body and material surroundings. Rising and shining means your inner spiritual awareness should guide and transform your physical actions. It's allowing your soul source connection to lead, to guide. And it's about co-creating with the divine. You are an active participant in creation. By embodying spiritual light, you help transform the darkness of the world into a place of peace, justice, and compassion. So this is about co-creating with the divine. Number 2 from the unseen is Barbault'S basket. And they said, a kinetic kick in the pants - shorts. Kinetic is an adjective that means relating to, characterized by, or caused by motion. Derived from the Greek word kinein, meaning to move. The term is widely used across different disciplines to describe movement, energy, and dynamic activity. So Barbault'S basket, a kinetic move, a kinetic kick in the pants, in the shorts. And this is the word evolutionary, where that came in. So this is a kinetic kick in the pants, in the shorts, that is creating this evolutionary change, that's bringing this expansion of our consciousness, expansion of the universe. It's revolutionary. It's the old world ending, the new one beginning. When one door closes, a new one opens. Number 3 from the unseen is mission accomplished, reaching beyond the mundane, a seismic shift in consciousness. And they gave the example of 3D to 5D. So third dimension, which is where we are, into fourth and fifth dimension, the spectrum of 3, 4, 5. And how, depending on your state of awareness, consciousness, alignment, openness, purity, not perfection, purity, goodness. The alignment, you advance, you expand in consciousness, awareness, opportunity, ability. So, mission accomplished. Spiritually, mission accomplished signifies the triumphant fulfillment of your soul's purpose, aligning with the divine, it is finished archetype. It represents mastering a specific life lesson, breaking karmic cycles, and shedding limiting beliefs, bringing profound inner peace, spiritual maturity, and readiness for your next evolution. We have completed this patriarchal Piscean era, way of life, operating system, octave. We are now, be ready, we are now, I am ready. It was last week's mantra. We are now ready. So this mission accomplished from the unseen is saying we've completed that. It's to recognize, be aware, you've completed whatever this is. You're ready to up-level. That may be unknown to us, to you, until it isn't, until it's revealed. And then you know, when the door opens, walk through it and don't look back. And I'm going to come to our mantra, but so mission accomplished. And it's about completion of a soul contract. Many spiritual traditions believe we incarnate with specific lessons or missions. Reaching this milestone means you have successfully extracted the wisdom from a particular life chapter, freeing you to move forward without regret. The it is finished archetype. This concept strongly echoes the ultimate declaration of spiritual completion, famously translated from the Greek word tetelestai. I think I just butchered that, but there we are. It indicates that a necessary sacrifice, healing work, or divine task has been paid in full, requiring no more striving or self-doubt. This is where, that old, the self-flagellation, all of that self-talk that was demonizing and that holds us back and down. It's been paid in full. This is again from, that we're, it was number 2 from the July 8th show, the tearing of the veil, bringing to the fore what was paid for long ago, and this direct connection and deliverance, this direct access and an interstellar awakening. So this is what we're speaking about here. It's about alignment with divine will. It signifies moving from the ego's desires to a state of flow with the universe, with the unseen, your soul, the all that is, the divine. You recognize that the journey you just completed was an integral part of a larger sacred plan. So where we are in this moment, literally, and perhaps, right now, 19 to 22 of July, Barbault'S basket, or this month of July, the old door closes, the new one opens. And it's really about the new door opens. That's where we are. So mark this as a moment in your mind, and on your calendar, in your person, that says the old me, namaste, I bow to the divine in you. Everything you are and were was purposeful, and I'm so grateful. Thank you. I've learned so much. And then you stop and you pivot and you turn and you say, now I take only the best of me forward. And I am open to what the unseen, this moment, this new octave of being affords me. And should any of the olds try to sneak in, you just bow and say, no, 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 thank you. Thank you. But this aspect, this piece is completed. And you move forward. You open yourself to the new. So this alignment with divine will, that it's an integral part of a larger sacred plan. And lastly, it's about rebirth and renewal. The conclusion of one mission always clears the energetic space for the next. This accomplishment serves as a spiritual initiation, empowering you with new clarity, spiritual gifts, and a renewed sense of direction. It's new. We may not know everything, and that's okay, but it will be expansive, it will be revelatory, it will be new, there will come clarity, spiritual gifts, this renewed sense of purpose and direction, because it's going to be soul aligned, soul driven, not ego, mind, personality. It's ego, mind, personality, human in concert with, in service to this divine octave of us. It's already within us. We're coming in to meet the two at the same time. Number 4, as they said, before you is an open door. Walk through it! Exclamation points underlined. So before you, it's number 4, foundational. All these planets at number 4 hasn't happened in recorded history. Before you is an open door. Walk through it. And number 5 from the unseen, they said earth, wind, and fire. So we're going to, and there's an association of these. So let me bring up earth, wind, and fire. The spiritual meaning behind the legendary band Earth, Wind, and Fire is rooted in cosmic balance, universal love, and humanity's connection to the universe. Founded by Maurice White, the group's name and mystical concepts were inspired by astrology and ancient Egyptian spirituality. Each element symbolizes a core pillar of their message. Earth symbolizes grounding, stability, and our physical connection to the sacred earth and each other. In this, the unseen said, earth, wind, and fire. Earth was represented by the death card in the tarot. Now, the death card can mean a literal death. However, more often than not, it is metaphorical, meaning the end of something, the death of a way, the death of, or the end of a thought, a way of life, a personality, this way of being. So earth is represented by the death card. We're talking about the old earth, the new earth. The old door closes, a new one opens. So and Pluto in Aquarius, death to an old way. When Pluto was in Capricorn, it was centralized, all the wealth and all of this was centralized at the top. Pluto in Aquarius speaks to the distribution, the redistribution of that wealth to the people. And that wealth, meaning wealth can simply be ability, opportunity. This abundance, it's not always monetary or material. However, again, to have that kind of abundance, wealth, riches, requires an equal playing field. So earth, wind is about air. It represents intellect, communication, and the breath of life that connects all living beings. So with wind, with the unseen, came the Tower card in the tarot. It's the Tower we've all been waiting for. The Tower falls, collapses, the old falls and collapses. It breathes new life. It brings that, it breathes new life into the moment, the age, the opportunity. And so Earth is represented by the Death card. Wind is represented by air. And lastly, fire. Fire represents divine transformation, inner power, passion, and willpower. The fire card, pardon me, is represented by the sun. It is the most positive card in the tarot deck. It represents rebirth, renewal, abundance, prosperity, joy, love, harmony, innocence, purity. And it was together these elements serve as a metaphysical benchmark for raising human consciousness and spreading joy, respect, and hope through rhythm, through energy, through song, if you will. Maurice White viewed their music as a service to humanity, aiming to heal and uplift listeners. So we have this beautiful earth, wind, and fire with Barbault'S basket. And this moment in time, and the door opens, and the time waits for no one. And I asked the unseen, and they said, what does this all mean? And they said, we are all remembering what this door is and represents individually and collectively. So there's a very strong aspect of remembering. Remembering means expansion, illumination, caterpillar to butterfly. See, the butterfly doesn't discard the caterpillar. They're one and the same. Pardon me. And so it's to recognize, and yet through that metamorphosis, the chrysalis of it, the transition of it, the very best is liquefied, biologically engineered, brought together again. Pardon me, I have a tickle in the back of my throat. To bring about this massive metamorphosis, transfiguration. And contained within the butterfly is the caterpillar. Contained within the caterpillar is the butterfly. So again, it's to remember, we are all remembering what this door is and what it represents. It's already within us. We're remembering it, bringing it together again in an expanded, higher state of consciousness, opportunity, depth, love. And last but not least is hexagram 13. It's obstruction. This is from Carrie Hone at cafeausoul.com. And its action is to innovate. Its hidden influence is before completion. So before it all ends, because it's a continuous cycle, we prepare. Before completion, prepare. Be ready. Its underlining cause is opposition, accommodate. Our first quote, adversity is how life unleashes your excellence from within. We are going through a major once in a lifetime, thousands of years moment. So adversity is how life unleashes your excellence from within. We will be awakened from within. It's our awareness, our consciousness. It will be expanded from within. As above, so below. And quote 2 is by Galileo. You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him to find it within. See, it's already present. It's already there. And from this, we expand, we receive. To what degree is dependent upon you, your alignment, your surrender to your soul, your listening and going as guided. So hexagram 15, obstruction, innovate. Jun, obstruction, is composed of the mountain and the danger presented by the abysmal water. We can imagine a deluge that could wash away even a mountain. Astro Toro was talking about the basket, the loving water, how each time there's a transition, water. So we can imagine a deluge that could wash away even a mountain. Being firm is no match for how life pursues innovation. Keeping still on the mountain doesn't mean wisdom and enlightenment are a destination or a place to hide from life. Enlightenment is a perspective of openness. It can change how the world appears. However, the path ahead will always pose threats and challenges to ensure we keep growing. It's through that adversity that we keep growing, expanding. It does no good to believe that conflict or difficulty can come to an end. Conflict is the driving force of change, and how you approach it determines your success. It's how we approach change that determines our experience. When we meet, I was going to use the word confront, but we're not confronting change. We're meant to align with it. We're meant to welcome it, embrace it. And that determines our experience, our success. The hidden influence of before completion suggests preparing for a downturn, even while something is in an upward trend. The deconstruction, the construction. In the same way, obstruction suggests preparing in advance for change. The underlying cause of opposition revealed how diversity and uniqueness were kept intact during union. In obstruction, we must bring diverging energies together so that both are transformed. Ego, mind, personality, human, soul source connection. We must bring these together, these diverging energies together so that both are transformed. In this sense, obstruction is more of a merging of individual approaches. In a world that is not stagnant and always growing, evolutionary evolution is perpetual. Regardless of the obstruction, it has come to teach you about a new approach or a new perspective. A new door opens. So this is a pivotal moment. It is once in a lifetime. It's beyond once in a lifetime. It's literally thousands of years. Astrologers, very noted astrologers, have not yet been able to discern a point in recorded history where this configuration occurred prior. All at 4 degrees, foundational, 4. So, time to rise and shine on earth as it is in heaven. Barbault'S basket is a kinetic kick in the pants, the shorts. It's evolutionary. Mission accomplished, reaching beyond the mundane. A seismic shift in consciousness, 3D to 5D. Before you is an open door. Walk through it. Earth, wind, and fire. It's about death, the tarot, symbolic death, the tower, pardon me. You can tell Mercury's going. By the way, Mercury's going direct tomorrow, so communication is going to get a little more. We're going to get more clarity with communication, so thank you for bearing with me. And it's number 5, earth, wind, and fire, death, tower, and the sun. Number 5 representing change. When one door closes, a new one opens. It's about beyond, our mantra, beyond reason. Beyond reason, cannot miss this. Spiritually, beyond reason signifies a state of consciousness or faith that transcends everyday logic, rationalization, and the limits of the human mind. It is the recognition that the ultimate truths of the universe, the divine, and human existence cannot be fully grasped through intellectual analysis alone. Beyond reason, beyond the mind. It's about faith and divine mystery. Belief in a higher power requires trusting in the unseen and experiencing realities that cannot be scientifically proven. It embraces sacred paradoxes like the coexistence of suffering and divine love, or the nature of the soul, which challenge human comprehension but provide spiritual peace. It's about intuition over intellect. Many spiritual traditions teach that true wisdom is discovered in the stillness of the heart or through intuition, rather than the logical brain. The mind seeks to dissect and define, whereas the spirit connects directly with the divine or the present moment. It's about surrendering control. Spiritual awakening often involves letting go of the ego's need to figure out why things happen. Instead of finding a logical explanation for every life event, it is the practice of surrendering to a higher universal flow, surrendering to your soul source connection. And lastly, it's about transcendence. To operate beyond reason is to step outside the constraints of duality, good, bad, right, wrong, to experience a brighter, boundless connection to the cosmos, to God, to the divine, to the all that is. So this is our mantra, beyond reason. We're moving beyond reason. We are moving well beyond what we've known. You know what you know until you know. Make room, make space for the unknown. It's here. The time is here. It's time to rise and shine. Thank you all so much for your presence, your comments, your love, your energy, your participation on this journey. We have a big Aquarius full moon on the 29th. We have Mercury going direct on the 23rd. And we have the nodal axis changing again from Pisces to Aquarius, from Virgo to Leo, all before we end the month of July. And then we have eclipses in August that are coming up. So never a dull moment, as above, so below. Love you all, and we will see you next week.
You've been listening to Dearjames Live. Gain intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions and so much more by tuning in next week and visiting dearjames.com.